Oh boy, it's a different fucking opinion! Yeah, so It Follows is one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. I don't get the fan culture behind it, or why it's so popular. If you haven't clicked off the video already, I'm going to tell you why! It Follows centers around a girl named Jay who is constantly followed by an ever-looming entity. Her entire goal of the film is to either try and lose it or defeat it. It's a painfully obvious allegory for sex and its diseases, and it's incredibly negative. Now, to be fair to the movie, it actually starts off really good. The opening shot of the film is incredibly well handled. It's all done in one take. It follows this girl around and seeing her expressions. It tells a lot about what's going on without having to use any real dialogue to tell you what's going on. It's simple, and from a technical and narrative standpoint, it works really well based on the context of the creature and the rest of the movie. I like the beginning more because of the rest of the movie. And at no point does it ever show you the creature, which is a problem I have with A Quiet Place, a horror movie I personally really like. But while this movie has a very effective use of the camera at the beginning, it's just way too obsessed with using panning, spinning, and dolly shots throughout a good portion of the movie. It gets kind of annoying and repetitive after a while. The movie is off to a slow start with Jay getting ready for a date. Okay, establishing relationships, and the setting using the old 70s TV. Is that a fucking clamshell? E-reader? A clamshell cell phone? I have no idea, but it's throwing me off. Oh, honey, stop. That pink dress and seashell choker isn't working. So we're on the date, and wait, I thought this was supposed to be set in the 60s or 70s. But there's this fancy clamshell phone e-reader thing, and this chick has a cell phone in the background outside the theater. Also, the cars in the background. I can tell this movie's going to piss me off with a lot of its inconsistencies. But I'll give the movie this too. Not showing us the creature at this point is very good in terms of keeping us in the perspective with Jay. Her boyfriend being able to see it is nice. So not showing us the creature at this point is God damn it! You already fucked it up! Stick to one method of filming and let's give it a reason to change the rules. Okay, I'm calm. Let's just move on for now.
Do I smell bad?
Don't worry. You never lit the cigarette. You probably smell fine. Yes, I went on 1 or 2 dates with this guy. I'll just follow him into the woods to a creepy abandoned parking garage. Nothing bad could possibly happen here. Maybe that's another thing they're trying to do to make you think it's the 70s. She's a dumb blonde trope. It's at this point in the movie that it really starts to drop in quality from a writing standpoint. We are literally told almost everything the movie wants us to know about the creature, which makes sense for Jay as a character who needs to survive, but for us as the audience, it's immediately taking away some sense of fear, because there are many rules we are now made aware of, which the movie frequently breaks, by the way. It being able to look like anyone can make it scary. Not knowing why this is happening can create tension. But the movie does very little to establish it as a real threat or something to legitimately be afraid of. Sure, we had the opening to establish what it can do, but that gets ruined at the second beach scene. The rule of it walking slowly is an early adapted idea from slasher movies like Halloween and Friday the 13th, where the threat is slow, which to me doesn't create enough tension. Seeing what they can do or cannot do is what makes or breaks tension. So at this point in the movie, when she's at school and the old lady starts walking up, I can see there being a little bit of tension. She doesn't know for sure if this is a threat. We as an audience know it can break people's legs if it catches you. Jay tests it by calling out to it in front of people who obviously don't see it. At this point, it's safe to assume we're watching this from the perspective of Jay, and showing the creature makes some sense. If you thought that tool was going to stay that way, think again. Oh yeah, there are other characters in the movie. Let's see what they're up to.
You kissed two sisters, that's kind of gross.
Gross.
The fuck?
The movie tries to jump scare you, and instead of Paul calling the police on the phone in the fucking kitchen and leaving Jay behind, we then get a needlessly drawn-out shot trying to build suspense for way too long of a hooker doing this. The reason the scene doesn't really work is because the creature doesn't really do anything. We just know it's there. Doing nothing but peeing on the floor. Wasn't one of the rules that the creature will stop at nothing to try and get you? Why was it just standing there in the kitchen? Wouldn't coming out of the kitchen to the living room potentially reduce Jay's chance of escaping? And for that matter, why did she just stand at the doorway of the theater? At first you'd think it's intelligent and doesn't want to kill in front of people, but at any other point in the movie, it doesn't care. It even hurts someone who can't see it. We're now properly introduced to Shark Boy over here after like 2 establishing shots trying to let you know, hey, this guy's in the movie too. They decide to try and find Jay's ex to get more information, and Shark Boy offers to drive a few people around despite not really establishing that he has a relationship with any of these people. Oh wait, he was mean to Jay once, maybe? What character building? While Shark Boy is leering at Jay's 14-year-old sister for some fucking reason, Paul finds a used porno mag upstairs. Hold up. The police already searched this place, right?
Apparently he used a fake name to rent a house in the city. The police searched the place, they can't find him.
Those are DNA samples in those tissues. And a photo of him in the porno to the school he's connected to. Did the cops not bother to check upstairs? Or did Jay's ex decide to have one more wank session after being sure the cops stopped searching the squat? After a needlessly long spinning shot and a school administrator just giving away private information of a student, which they aren't legally allowed to do, but are allowed to give the cops in this situation, we're off to talk with Jay's creepy ex-boyfriend who feeds us and Jay information we already knew. So this whole ordeal was kind of pointless. We wouldn't have gotten this super subtle symbolism for cutting, though! After learning how to use a gun after shooting it a couple of times, we're then shown the greatest scene in the entire movie. It's hilariously stupid and ruins everything the movie tried to establish earlier about the creature.
Oh my god! Help me! Jay, what is it? Help! Help me!
The movie can no longer keep track of whether it wants us to see or not see the entity from this point on. It's infuriating to me. Oh, how threatening! It pulls your hair and will let go after being hit with a lawn chair, which is also adequate cover from bullets. Which, by the way, do absolutely nothing to the creature, which cements all tension being lost as the only thing she can do is fuck someone else. Which she does do, and that goes not how I would have expected. By the way, that's supposed to be his mom, who's wet humping him to death. After whatever that was, Jay has the best, most logical idea to gangbang some dudes on a boat, which he doesn't do. Alright, I get it. Sex in this movie is a big no-no, and if you do it once, you're gonna fucking die. But if my chances of surviving go up by at least 3 times by fucking a bunch of dudes, you can bet my ass will have 3 dicks in it by the end of the night. Why doesn't anyone put any fucking thought into anything they do in this movie? At least Paul accepts that the creature exists and offers to take it off her hands, unlike Shark Boy, who just wanted to get laid. But Jay decides it's somehow better to try and fight the creature, which the movie already established can't die, and she should be aware of that. So why even bother attempting this Scooby-Doo level of a plan? Which, by the way, doesn't work, as it can't even kill Jay with her own plan, and they shoot it in the head multiple times, which we already know does nothing to stop it. And after finally accepting her only option is to pass it on, she fucks Paul, who contemplates passing on to hookers, but doesn't. They just very begrudgingly put themselves in this very forced relationship even the actors couldn't believe, because fucking look at them. They look like they might as well be dead. The movie starts to have you think it's all over, but then there's a shot of this guy at the end of the movie, and it just fucking ends? You fucked me! This movie fucked me! You know what might have made this movie just a little bit better? Not showing the creature getting shot. Giving her a gun doesn't make sense, because at this point, her friends are given little reason to believe the creature exists. So trusting a young adult who sees invisible people a firearm might not be the smartest decision. I get it, they're dumb kids, but there is just repeatedly bad decisions to the point where characters never get smarter or change throughout the film. They don't learn anything. Also, have the creature pull Jay into the pool and kill her after disguising itself in its literal pool of blood. Sure, it's abrupt, but it isn't any less abrupt than the ending that we got, and to me is more satisfying. Jay dying benefits every other character, minus her ex-boyfriend. God, I fucking hate this movie. From its boring characters to its shitty soundtrack and its inconsistency with the creature and how it's filmed, there's just nothing salvageable about this movie. The second half ruins the first half. But what do I know? I'm just a fucking nerd drinking out of a Rainbow Dash mug.